What you're about to hear is undeniably the most terrifying escalation in hip-hop history. Forget the diss tracks. Forget the deleted Instagram posts and the podcast interviews. We have officially crossed the line into a real-life horror movie. Late last night, a breathless, panic-stricken voice note leaked onto the dark web, and the steady, haunting beep of a hospital heart monitor in the background will freeze your blood. It was T.I.'s 21-year-old son, King Harris, broadcasting straight from a trauma center, begging his father to lock the mansion gates before it was too late. But T.I. was already out of time. Before the Atlanta police could even secure the hospital's perimeter, leaked Ring camera footage captured multiple heavily tinted, matte black SUVs swarming T.I.'s private fortress. 50 Cent's notorious affiliates didn't just show up to talk. They bypassed the outer security protocols looking for immediate answers, and what they left at the front door has the entire Harris family fearing for their lives. If you thought Curtis Jackson was just playing internet games, you are dead wrong. Sit down and brace yourself, because the chilling footage we are about to break down reveals a betrayal so sick, it will change the music industry forever. To truly grasp the catastrophic magnitude of what is unfolding outside T.I.'s multi-million-dollar compound right now, you have to understand the ticking time bomb that's been sitting under the hip-hop industry for the last few weeks. Look, for those of you who have been following this culture for decades, the real day one fans who remember when street beef stayed in the streets, you already know that Curtis, 50 Cent, Jackson is not a man you play with. This is the same mastermind who single-handedly dismantled the empires of legendary artists who were foolish enough to cross his path. But this current war? It was never supposed to get this dark. It was supposed to be about music. It all started over a simple, almost innocent conversation about a Versus battle. T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, went on a popular podcast and confidently claimed that 50 Cent backed out of a legendary stage clash. T.I. looked right into the cameras and publicly stated he had lost all respect for the G-Unit general. Now, anybody with a pulse knows you do not publicly humiliate 50 Cent and walk away to tell the tale. The retaliation was swift, calculated, and vicious. 50 Cent immediately labeled T.I. a rat, bringing up old federal paperwork. But he didn't stop there. He crossed the ultimate unwritten rule of hip-hop by posting deeply unflattering, mocking photos of T.I.'s wife, Tiny Harris, to his millions of followers. That was the exact moment the music stopped and the real war began. 50 Cent dragged a man's wife into the crosshairs, inviting a deeply personal vendetta. But instead of T.I. handling it behind closed doors, his 21-year-old son, King Harris, decided to step into a heavyweight ring without any armor. King, fueled by raw emotion and blind rage, went live on Instagram to aggressively defend his mother. But King didn't just insult 50 Cent's music or his television shows. He committed the ultimate, unforgivable hip-hop sin. King Harris brought up 50 Cent's deceased mother, Sabrina Jackson. He mocked a childhood tragedy. He told a billionaire mogul to go visit his dead mother's grave. The collective gasp from the hip-hop community could be heard around the entire world. Industry executives were reportedly holding emergency meetings. Veterans of the streets of Atlanta warned King to back down immediately. You do not weaponize the deepest, darkest trauma of a man who built an entire empire on ruthless, systematic retaliation. But King didn't listen. He doubled down. He dropped a diss track. He posted alleged FBI documents. He kept aggressively poking the bear, mistaking 50 Cent's sudden eerie silence for weakness. Over the past few days, 50 Cent inexplicably deleted all his posts about the Harris family. He stopped making memes. He went completely, terrifyingly quiet. Casual fans thought the beef was fizzling out. But true insiders knew the horrifying reality. 50 Cent wasn't retreating. He was calculating. He was putting his physical pieces on the chessboard. The tension in Atlanta has been suffocating, with everyone knowing a storm was brewing, but nobody knowing exactly when or where the lightning would strike. Well, the lightning just struck, and it brought down the entire house. King Harris thought he was playing a digital game for internet clout, but he just triggered a real-life nightmare that has his father desperately scrambling to save his own blood. At exactly 2:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the internet completely shattered. A 45-second audio clip surfaced on an underground dark web forum before violently exploding across X, Reddit, and TikTok. The audio is raw. It is unedited. And it is absolutely blood-curdling. You don't even have to like King Harris to feel your stomach drop when you hear this. In the clip, you hear the unmistakable, frantic voice of King. He's gasping for air, his voice trembling with a level of sheer, unadulterated terror we have never heard from the usually boastful 21-year-old. Behind his shaking voice, the rhythmic, piercing beep, beep, beep of a hospital heart monitor is unmistakable. He's in a trauma ward. Dad, you gotta pick up right now. They're here. I don't know how they found me at the club, they took the chain. Dad, lock the gates. Do not let Mom out the house. They said it's grown man business now. Lock the gates, Dad. Then, the audio violently cuts off with the sound of a heavy door being kicked open, followed by a muffled scuffle. The internet lost its collective mind. Within minutes, the Shade Room servers literally crashed from the unprecedented traffic. Hashtag Pray for King and hashtag 50 Cent Demon Time became the #1 trending topics globally. Insiders began whispering that King was ambushed outside an exclusive Buckhead nightclub, violently stripped of his signature jewelry, and left requiring immediate medical attention. But the terror in his voice wasn't about his physical injuries. It was a desperate warning to his family. A warning that T.I. received entirely too late. Because just minutes after that chilling voice note hit T.I.'s phone, absolute hell broke loose at the Harris family estate. Leaked Ring camera footage, which is currently being scrubbed from social media by high-powered industry fixers almost as fast as it's being uploaded, shows a terrifying, cinematic scene. At 2:38 a.m., four matte black Cadillac Escalades with deeply tinted windows pull up to the heavily fortified gates of T.I.'s Atlanta mansion. This wasn't a reckless drive-by. This wasn't a bunch of clout-chasing kids. This was a highly coordinated, military-style arrival. Over a dozen men, alleged to be closely affiliated with 50 Cent's notorious New York and Atlanta street factions, stepped out of the vehicles in dead silence. The security footage shows T.I.'s armed guards rushing to the iron gates, flashing high-powered tactical flashlights, screaming for the men to step back or face lethal force. But the affiliates didn't flinch. They didn't draw weapons. Their mere silent presence was pure, suffocating intimidation. The leader of the crew calmly walked right up to the camera lens. He didn't shout a single threat. He simply held up a clear plastic evidence bag, dropped it at the base of the gate, looked dead into the lens, and smiled a cold, dead-eyed smile. T.I., who was reportedly inside the house frantically screaming at his security detail to dispatch a heavily armed team to the hospital, watched this silent ambush unfold on his security monitors in real time. The panic, the sickening betrayal, the sheer realization that his wife and family were completely surrounded in their own sanctuary. It's the kind of nightmare you cannot wake up from. T.I.'s head of security carefully approached the gate to retrieve the plastic bag left by the crew as the Escalade slowly faded into the Atlanta night. Everyone watching the leaked footage online held their breath, expecting a ransom note or a bloody piece of clothing. But here is the major twist that has everyone's blood running completely cold. This is the exact moment this beef crossed the point of no return. When T.I. opened that bag, it wasn't a piece of paper. It was the exact custom diamond pendant King Harris had been wearing just hours earlier on his Instagram stories. They had violently snatched it right from his neck. But that wasn't the twist. Wrapped tightly around the heavy gold chain was a printed screenshot. It was a screenshot of T.I.'s own private, encrypted text messages. Let me repeat that so you understand the gravity of this situation. 50 Cent's affiliates didn't just track King Harris to a random nightclub. They didn't just blindly guess where he was going to be. The screenshot wrapped around that chain was a leaked text message containing King's exact, real-time live location, and that text was sent from a burner phone traced directly back to a member of T.I.'s own inner circle. Someone inside the Harris family camp. Someone eating at T.I.'s dinner table. Someone who calls himself a Day One loyalist, sold King Harris out to 50 Cent shooters for 30 pieces of silver. T.I. isn't just fighting a billionaire mogul anymore. He is sleeping with the enemy. And the call is coming from inside the house. Listen to me carefully, because if you thought the ambush at the gates was the climax of this nightmare, you are completely unprepared for what happened next. The sheer, suffocating paranoia that gripped T.I.'s Atlanta compound in that exact moment is something out of a psychological thriller. Imagine being the king of the South, a man who has built a 2-decade empire on street loyalty, only to realize that Judas is sitting in your own living room. The second T.I. saw that screenshot, the entire mansion went on a military-grade lockdown. Nobody was allowed in, and absolutely nobody was allowed out. T.I. reportedly ordered his few remaining, heavily armed, trusted guards to barricade the doors and violently confiscate every single cell phone from his entourage, his producers, his staff, and even his own extended family. The realization was sickening. 50 Cent didn't just outsmart him. 50 Cent bought out his inner circle. By 4 a.m., the internet had evolved from shocked to absolutely hysterical. The blurry, terrifying Ring camera footage of the escalades leaked to TMZ and the Shade Room, and all of a sudden, the entire music industry woke up in a cold sweat. Twitter wasn't just trending, it was a digital war zone. Charlemagne the God allegedly tweeted and immediately deleted, "I've been in this industry for 25 years. I have never seen a family get hunted like this. This isn't rap anymore. Pray for ATL." DJ Academics abruptly ended a live stream, visibly sweating, after telling his audience, "My phone is ringing. OGs are telling me to shut the stream down right now. It's too dangerous to even talk about this." But then came the second twist, the catastrophic reveal that changed the entire narrative from a street ambush to a terrifying infiltration. At exactly 5 a.m., 50 Cent finally broke his eerie, agonizing silence. He didn't post a meme. He didn't post a funny video. He posted a single, chilling photograph to his Instagram grid. He left it up for exactly 50 seconds before deleting it. But on the internet, 50 seconds is an eternity. Millions of people screenshotted it, and what they saw made the world's blood run cold. It wasn't a picture of King Harris in the hospital. It wasn't a picture of the escalades. It was a high-resolution photograph of a vintage, custom-embroidered G-Unit fitted cap, resting casually on the white marble kitchen island inside T.I. and Tiny's private home. Read that again. Let that sink into your brain. 50 Cent's affiliates didn't just pull up to the gates tonight. They've been inside the house. Someone on T.I.'s payroll didn't just text King's location to 50 shooters. They literally opened the back doors of the Harris family sanctuary and let the enemy walk through the kitchen where T.I.'s wife and children eat breakfast. The picture proved that 50 Cent wasn't just watching them. He was practically living in the walls. The industry backlash was instantaneous and entirely driven by panic. Meek Mill tweeted out to his millions of followers, "Nah, this ain't hip-hop no more. This is cartel behavior. Y'all pushed that man too far." Even Whack 100, a man known for never backing down from controversy, posted an all-black square on Instagram with the caption, "When a man's dead mother is disrespected, the devil takes the wheel. I'm staying out of this one." The realization that 50 Cent had effortlessly bypassed a billionaire rapper's $1 million security system without a single alarm going off destroyed the illusion of safety. T.I. wasn't fighting a rival rapper. He was fighting a ghost. And just as social media was melting down over the kitchen photo, the drama inside the lockdown mansion reached a boiling point. T.I., shaking with rage and heartbreak, dumped the pile of confiscated cell phones onto his dining table. He frantically searched through them, looking for the burner phone that matched the leaked screenshot. He found it, hidden inside a hollowed-out decorative vase in the hallway. T.I. snatched the burner phone. His hands trembling, he pressed redial on the very last outgoing call, fully expecting to hear the menacing voice of one of 50 Cent's New York shooters. He held the phone to his ear, holding his breath. It rang twice. The call connected. But the voice that answered the phone didn't belong to 50 Cent. It didn't belong to a hitman. The voice on the other end of the line made T.I. drop the phone to the hardwood floor in absolute, soul-crushing horror. By sunrise, the internet wasn't just broken, it was entirely paralyzed. The phrase hip-hop is dead wasn't just a trending topic anymore. It felt like a horrifying, undeniable reality. The absolute nuclear fallout from King Harris's leaked hospital audio, combined with the chilling security footage of 50 Cent's Escalades and that terrifying G-Unit hat photo, turned every single social media platform into an apocalyptic war zone. You didn't have to search for the drama. It was aggressively consuming every screen on the planet. I need you to understand the scale of this. We have never, ever seen anything like it. Major mainstream news networks that typically wouldn't touch a rap beef with a 10-foot pole were suddenly running urgent, breaking news banners. Good Morning America anchors looked genuinely disturbed as they scrambled to discuss the alleged coordinated infiltration of an Atlanta music mogul's estate. But it was the hip-hop community that was truly, violently tearing itself apart. The culture was split right down the middle, creating the most toxic, aggressive fan debate we have witnessed in modern history. On one side, you had the old-school street loyalists and 50 Cent's massive, unapologetic army of supporters. They flooded the comments of every blog, screaming that King Harris brought this hell upon his own family. A fake but wildly viral Twitter thread with over 200,000 retweets stated, "King spoke on a dead mother." He mocked a woman who tragically passed away when 50 was a child. The moment you disrespect the dead, you forfeit your right to cry about the consequences. 50 Cent isn't bullying anyone. He is just collecting a blood debt. But on the other side, fans, parents, and industry insiders were absolutely sickened by the ruthless escalation. Advocates for the Harris family argued that no matter what a hot-headed 21-year-old kid says on Instagram Live, you do not infiltrate a family's private sanctuary and put a wife and younger children in the cartel-style crossfire. The celebrity reactions were fueled by pure, unadulterated panic. Boozy Badass, usually the loudest and most fearless voice in the room, went on Instagram Live from a dark room, practically whispering, "Listen to me. I told that boy to stay off the net. This ain't music no more. They're moving like the actual mafia. Keep my name entirely out of this." Joe Budden devoted an emergency, unedited 3-hour podcast episode to the scandal, visibly sweating as he told his audience, "This is the scariest moment in hip-hop since 1996. 50 Cent just proved to the whole world that nobody is untouchable. Nobody is safe. Not even the king of the South." Meanwhile, TikTok armchair detectives were pushing the public hysteria to the absolute limit. Videos breaking down the Ring camera footage frame by frame were racking up millions of views in minutes. Fans were zooming in on the shadows, trying to identify the shooters outside the gates. But the most terrifying viral obsession was surrounding that G-Unit hat on T.I.'s kitchen island. People were literally drawing floor plans of the Harris estate, proving that whoever took that photo had to have keys, alarm codes, and intimate knowledge of the family's exact sleeping schedule. The sheer psychological warfare has left the industry completely paralyzed. Artists are reportedly canceling their Atlanta tour dates. Record executives are refusing to comment. The streets are holding their breath. But here is the sickest, most twisted part of this entire nightmare. The millions of people arguing online, the celebrities panicking, the news anchors reporting, they have absolutely no idea what is actually happening behind those locked mansion doors. They think the worst is over. They think the Escalades leaving the gates was the end of the terror. They don't know that the real horror was waiting inside the house the entire time. Listen to me very carefully because what I am about to tell you is going to turn your blood to ice. This is the moment a hip-hop feud stopped being a rivalry and turned into a terrifying, psychological thriller. T.I. is standing in the middle of his sprawling, dead-silent living room. He has just barricaded his own mansion. He has stripped his own trusted security guards of their cell phones. He is holding the secret burner phone he found stuffed inside a hallway vase, completely convinced that the person on the other end of the line is one of 50 Cent's ruthless shot callers. He expects a threat. He expects a ransom demand for his son, King, who he believes is lying bleeding in a trauma ward. The phone rings twice. The line clicks open. But the voice that echoes through the receiver doesn't belong to a New York hitman. It doesn't belong to 50 Cent. It is a groggy, confused, and very familiar voice. "Hello? Dad? Why are you calling the emergency line at this hour?" T.I.'s heart completely stops beating. He stops breathing. The voice on the phone is King Harris, and he isn't gasping for air. There is no beeping heart monitor in the background. There is no panic. T.I., his voice trembling with sheer terror, screams into the phone, asking about the nightclub, the ambush, the stolen chain, and the hospital. King goes dead silent on the other end before responding with a sentence that shatters reality. "Dad, what hospital? What are you talking about? I've been locked down at the undisclosed safe house since midnight. I never went to the club. My chain is sitting right here on the nightstand. I never sent you a voice note." The burner phone slips from T.I.'s trembling fingers and shatters on the hardwood floor. The realization hits him like a freight train. The breathless, terrifying voice note that leaked on the dark web, the agonizing sounds of a heart monitor, the desperate pleas for help. It was a fake. It was a flawlessly executed, military-grade AI deepfake. Think about it. 50 Cent has been aggressively weaponizing AI technology for months. He used it to mock T.I. with the movie ATL deepfake just weeks ago. But this wasn't a joke. This was psychological warfare. 50 Cent engineered a fake audio leak so horrific, so emotionally manipulative, that it completely short-circuited T.I.'s rational thinking.
Why?
Because 50 Cent needed T.I. to panic. He needed T.I. to look at his security monitors, see those 4 matte black Escalades at his gate dropping off a replica diamond pendant, and completely lose his mind. He needed T.I. to lock down the estate, isolate himself, and systematically confiscate the communication devices of his own armed guards. T.I. didn't lock 50 Cent shooters out. By throwing the mansion into a blind lockdown and disarming his internal communications, T.I. played right into the ultimate trap. He turned his million-dollar sanctuary into a cage. As the sickening horror washes over T.I., the ultimate nightmare becomes a reality. Without a single warning, the lights across the entire 15,000-square-foot Harris compound abruptly shut off. The security monitors go pitch black. The electronic deadbolts on the front doors disengage with a heavy, mechanical clack. T.I. is standing in total darkness. He is completely disconnected from the outside world. And then, from the top of the marble staircase, right outside the master bedroom where his wife Tiny is hiding, he hears the slow, heavy sound of boots walking across the floor. They weren't at the gates. They were already inside. Y'all, I literally still have chills. This is no longer a rap beef. This is a cartel-level psychological infiltration. Do you think 50 Cent went way too far by using a terrifying AI deepfake to trap T.I., or did King Harris bring this absolute nightmare to his own front door the second he disrespected the dead? Is the Harris family ever going to be safe again? I need to hear your thoughts right now. Drop your craziest theories in the comments below because this debate is tearing the internet apart. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell immediately. You do not want to miss our next update because what happens when the lights come back on inside that mansion changes hip-hop forever. Stay locked in.